A warning to all our viewers. What you're about to watch is a true story. The events depicted in this video may be disturbing or unsettling. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
A shocking, heartbreaking day.
Tonight we know the nursing student was shot in the back of the head.
And that gunshot killed her.
We couldn't see from the air what was happening down below. We saw the skull. Holly Bobo. This is all that was left of the beautiful blonde nursing student.
Number 5 is a rib.
Her bones scattered about, we learned, by animals in the woods. None of this would have happened if Larry Stone hadn't been searching the wood for the herb ginseng in 2014.
I said, I found remains.
Records confirmed it. He knew.
When I said, I had faith. This is Holly.
We classify a manner of death, in this case, as a homicide. And that's pretty typical for a gunshot entrance wound.
Somebody has my daughter.
Okay.
I have kidnapped her. 631 Johnson Road. Please get there now.
They're on their way. Is that where you live?
Yes, I'm in school. I'm trying to get there.
Okay, you live Karen?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Somebody's screaming. Hey, look out. It's somebody in full camouflage got.
I got officers on the way right now. Okay, Karen?
Please help me.
They're on their way, sweetie, right now. This is Robert.
Robert, please get everybody in the community out there.
They're on their way, sweetie. I got everybody on their way right now already.
She was already dead. That is what they believed. They had driven her body 40 miles from Darden, Tennessee, all the way to the banks of the Tennessee River, beneath the steel shadow of the Interstate 40 bridge, a place where the water runs deep and dark and fast enough to take a secret and keep it forever. They had a plan. They would gut her body so it would not float. They would let the river do the rest. Holly Bobo would simply cease to exist. A nursing student who walked into the trees one April morning and never came back. But when they pulled her from the truck bed, she moved. 20 years old, already wounded, wrapped in a blanket. And she moved. What happened next took less than 1 second. One decision made by someone who looked at a young woman still fighting to stay alive and chose to finish what they had started. A single gunshot to the back of her head, and then the river, and then the silence, and then 3.5 years of a family walking those Tennessee woods, calling her name into the dark. But here is what nobody tells you about this case. The man who may have pulled that trigger has never been conclusively identified. The man who walked Holly Bobo out of her own driveway in broad daylight at 7:42 in the morning, while her 17-year-old brother watched from a window 30 feet away, may still be living free in Tennessee right now. And the only person ever convicted of this crime may be innocent. This is not a case where justice was delayed. This is a case where justice may have never arrived at all, where the real story has been buried underneath 13 years of coerced confessions, fabricated testimony, and a legal system that needed an answer badly enough that it may have accepted a lie. Holly Bobo deserved better than what the courts gave her. And tonight, we are going to give her the truth instead. Welcome to The Killing Pattern. Today's case is Holly Bobo. If this is your first time here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications, because we cover cases like this every single week. Cases where the official story and the actual truth are not always the same thing. Drop a comment right now and tell us where in the world you are watching from. We have viewers in over 40 countries, and every single comment helps this story reach someone new. Because right now, Holly Bobo's story needs to reach as many people as possible. The case is not closed. Not really. Now let us get into it. The dog started barking at 8 o'clock in the morning. Not the easy, distracted bark of animals chasing something small through the yard. Every person who has lived with working dogs in rural Tennessee knows the difference. One sound is background noise, The other reaches into your chest and squeezes before your brain has caught up with why. This was the second kind. Clint Bobo was 17 years old, and he had been asleep the way teenagers sleep. Completely. Dreamlessly. In the particular safety of a house where everything is still in its right place. His parents, Dana and Karen Bobo, had already left for work. His older sister, Holly, 20 years old, nursing student, early riser. The kind of person who packed her lunch the night before an exam, had been awake since 4:30 in the morning. At 7:30, Aunt Holly's boyfriend, Drew Scott, called her from the woods on her grandmother's adjacent property in Decatur County, where he was turkey hunting. Normal. Routine. A check-in before her nursing exam. The kind of call couples make on an ordinary Wednesday morning. At 7:42, Holly Bobo made her last outgoing phone call. At 8 o'clock, the dogs erupted. Clint woke up, moved to the window, looked out toward the garage, and saw his sister Holly on her knees on the concrete driveway, facing a man dressed in full camouflage from head to toe. The kind of pattern every man in Decatur County wore during turkey season. The kind that made a human body dissolve into the tree line from 30 feet away. They were arguing. Holly's voice was sharp and frightened. The man was doing most of the talking. She was answering him back. Clint looked at that man, and his brain, filling in the distance, filling in the camouflage, filling in the most reasonable explanation available to a 17-year-old boy at 8 in the morning, told him it was Drew Scott. Drew wore camouflage. Drew hunted these woods. Drew was known and safe and approved of. The assumption was not foolish. It was the most logical conclusion a person could have reached from where Clint was standing with the information he had in that moment. It was also the assumption that cost Holly Bobo her life. He heard her voice carry 2 words through the glass. No. Why? Then Karen Bobo called the house from her workplace in another county. Clint answered and told her what he was seeing. His sister, her boyfriend, a driveway argument. Karen Bobo had raised these 2 children in this house on this land in Darden, Tennessee. She had the particular knowledge of her own children that does not require evidence. She heard what her son described, and she knew immediately and completely that what he was watching was not a relationship argument. 7 words. 7 words that Clint Bobo has carried inside his body every single day for 13 years. Clint. That is not Drew. Shoot him. The half-second between hearing those words and understanding them is where the entire case lives. Because in the time it took Clint to process the gap between what he had assumed and what his mother was telling him, to move from the window to the door and get outside with a loaded pistol, the man in the camouflage had walked Holly Bobo into the dense Tennessee woods at the edge of the Bobo property and disappeared. Clint ran outside. The driveway was empty. The tree line was still. And on the concrete floor of the garage where his sister had been kneeling moments before, Clint found what removed the last possibility that he had misread the situation. Holly's blood. Fresh. Still wet on the concrete. He called 911. His mother reached the wrong dispatcher first, costing minutes the trail could not recover. When the correct authorities were finally reached, law enforcement arrived at the Bobo residence in Darden exactly 10 minutes after Clint's call. 10 minutes. In an abduction, 10 minutes is geography. Holly's cell phone was still active, pinging north toward Interstate 40, toward the Tennessee River, toward the darkness already waiting for her 40 miles away. The dogs went quiet, and Clint Bobo was standing in a driveway with a gun in his hand and his sister's blood on the concrete, and the knowledge that the most important moment of his life had lasted approximately 12 seconds. And he had spent 11 of them at the wrong window, believing the wrong name. To understand what was lost on April 13th, 2011, you first have to understand what existed before it. Darden, Tennessee, sits in Decatur County in the rural western part of the state. Population 387. The kind of number that tells you everything. Everyone knows which truck belongs to which family, just from the sound of the engine. Everyone watches out for everyone else's children without being asked. The woods surrounding every property are not wilderness. They are familiar ground. Dana Bobo built things with his hands for a living. Karen Bobo's awareness of her children was not something she practiced. It was something she was. Holly Lynn Bobo was born on October 12, 1990. By April of 2011, she was 20 years old. Enrolled in the nursing program at the University of Tennessee at Martin, commuting to classes at their center in nearby Parsons. She called her parents every single day. She had been with Drew Scott long enough that the people who loved her were watching to see if he would propose. He hunted the family's land. He wore camouflage in the early mornings. He was known. He was trusted. The woods were safe. The camouflage meant hunting. It was still April 12th, within hours of Clint's 911 call. The search begins, and it does not stop for 3.5 years. Hundreds of volunteers, then thousands, pour into Decatur County from across Tennessee and neighboring states. Clint walks with them, every creek crossing, every deer trail, looking for his sister with the restlessness of someone who cannot afford to stop, because stopping means something he is not ready to accept. On April 15th, 2 days after Holly vanished, searchers find her lunchbox in the woods off Bible Hill Road, not far from the Bobo home. Inside is a sandwich she packed for a school day she never reached. A small card embroidered with the letter H. She had gotten up at 4:30 in the morning and made her lunch and planned her day, and someone had already decided that day did not belong to her. She packed her lunch. On cell tower data from Holly's phone had already tracked it moving north toward Interstate 40 and the Tennessee River corridor before going silent. It pointed investigators toward a geographic area, but it did not give them a name. Investigators focus early on Terry Britt, a registered sex offender in the area whose physical description aligns closely with what Clint reported seeing in the driveway. His home is wiretapped, searched, put under surveillance. Nothing sticks. The national media arrives, America's most wanted features. Holly's disappearance multiple times. Nancy Grace covers it extensively. Holly's cousin Whitney Duncan, a rising country music artist in Nashville, keeps Holly's name alive from stages Holly never got to see her perform on. But attention is not evidence. Weeks become months. The searches grow smaller. The cameras leave. The tips dry up. Dana and Karen Bobo never stop. They organize search parties. They keep Holly's face on missing person posters. They keep pressure on law enforcement with the determination of parents who have decided that motion is the only form of hope available to them. Clint walks alongside them, and sometimes alone, moving through the same woods, calling the same silence. September 2014, 3 years and 5 months after Holly walked into the woods off the Bobo property in Darden. A man named Larry Stone is foraging for ginseng in the woods of northern Decatur County. He spots an overturned bucket sitting alone in the leaves. He flips it over and finds a human skull. Stone breaks down immediately. He tells his cousin, "Please tell me that is one of those things they use for school. Please tell me that is not real." He already knows. Investigators find partial skeletal remains scattered across the forest floor near Interstate 40. Holly's skull, several ribs, a shoulder blade, her teeth. Her wallet nearby with her driver's license still inside. And then the detail that reframes everything. A bullet hole in the back of Holly's skull, entry wound on the back right side, exit wound, front left, fracturing her left cheekbone. One shot, deliberate. She was not lost. She was not abandoned. She was executed. Someone looked at Holly Bobo and made a decision. DNA testing confirms what the wallet and the remains already made certain. Holly Lynn Bobo had been found just off Interstate 40 in the exact corridor where her cell phone last pinged on the morning of April 13th, 2011. She had been there the whole time, and for Dana and Karen Bobo, 3.5 years of the hope that missing allows collapses in a single phone call. Holly was coming home, not the way anyone had prayed for. In March 2014, 6 months before Holly's remains are even recovered, arrests begin. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation announces a breakthrough. Someone has finally talked. That someone is John Dylan Adams. Dylan had been arrested on unrelated weapons charges. He is intellectually disabled. His capacity to withstand sustained pressure, to hold the line between what he remembers and what investigators tell him he should remember, is profoundly limited. He is kept in interrogation through the night without food, without water, without rest, until he says what they need him to say. He claims he went to his brother Zachary Adams' residence on the morning of April 13th, 2011, to pick up his truck. While there, he says he saw Holly Bobo alive, sitting in a green chair, wearing a pink t-shirt, with Jason Autry standing nearby. He claims Zachary told him he had raped Holly and recorded it. This statement leads to the arrests of Zachary Adams, Jason Autry, and Shane Kyle Austin. Dylan Adams later recants every single word. His mother describes watching the interrogation footage. She describes seeing the exact moment her son stopped trying to remember what actually happened and started agreeing with whatever the agent suggested. "Don't you mean it happened like this, Dylan? Didn't it go down this way?" She watched him give up, watched him decide that agreement was the only exit available. "What do you want me to say?" So now hold that against what Clint reported seeing, his description of the man in the driveway, the height, the build. Long, dark hair. The Adams brothers were too tall and too heavy. Shane Kyle Austin was closer in build, but had short red hair. A former TBI agent named Terry Dicus testified for the defense that he personally ruled these men out early because their alibis checked out and cell phone records placed Zachary Adams miles from the Bobo property during the abduction. For Jason Autry's timeline to be mathematically possible, the men would have had to travel rural Decatur County roads at 106 miles per hour. But the prosecution had Jason Autry on the stand, and Jason Autry had a story. Autry described going to Shane Austin's location to buy drugs and finding Holly there. He described a multicolored blanket wrapped around her body. He described the drive to the Tennessee River beneath the Interstate 40 bridge to dispose of her in the water. He described pulling her from the truck bed and realizing she was still moving, still alive. And then, according to Autry, Zachary Adams pressed a weapon to the back of Holly Bobo's head and fired. On September 22nd, 2017, the jury returned its verdict. Zachary Adams, guilty on all charges. Life in prison without the possibility of parole plus 50 years. Dylan Adams entered an Alford plea in January 2018, maintaining his innocence while accepting a 35-year sentence. Jason Autry, whose testimony sent these men away, served 8 years of a dramatically reduced sentence and walked out of prison in September 2020. Dana and Karen Bobo sat in the gallery and watched what looked like justice land after 6 years of fighting. And somewhere underneath the relief, something quieter, something that did not feel entirely like the end. January 2024. Jason Autry files a declaration from federal custody. The man whose testimony convicted Zachary Adams. The man who described the blanket and the river and the gunshot with the calm precision of someone who was there. He made the whole thing up. Every detail. The green chair, the pink t-shirt, the blanket, the river, Holly moving when they pulled her from the truck, the shot to the back of her head. He took a real day from his own life and inserted Holly Bobo's murder into it. Then he synchronized his fabricated account with discovery evidence prosecutors had shared with him before trial, so the lie would have the structural integrity of truth. He knew the details because he read them in the case files. He described her final moments with the precision of someone who had read everything and invented the rest. He performed her death from memory that was never his. And he has been living free since September 2020. What this means for Zachary Adams, currently serving life without parole, is a question the Tennessee legal system is now being forced to examine. In June 2024, the case returned to court. Dana and Karen Bobo sat in the same gallery where they had watched the verdict 7 years earlier. The question being examined is the same one this family has been living inside since April 13th, 2011. What actually happened? If Holly's name means something to you now, share this. Tell someone. Let her name stay loud. Because the people who should be afraid of attention are counting on the world to forget her. Don't let them. Terry Britt. His name has lived in this case since the beginning and has never been resolved. Britt is a registered sex offender. His physical description aligns with what Clint reported seeing in that driveway more closely than any man ever arrested and tried. The TBI investigated him and never formally cleared him. He claimed his wife stayed home from work that morning to help install a bathtub. Investigators found she had actually gone to work. He had called her and told her to leave early, creating a gap his alibi was supposed to fill. The store had no record of the receipt the couple produced, and a palm print recovered from Holly Bobo's car could not exclude Terry Britt as its source. None of this convicted him. None of it cleared him. His name sits in the space between what is known and what has been proven, which is one of the most dangerous spaces a case can occupy, because it means the question is still open and the person inside that question is still somewhere. Clint Bobo is no longer 17 years old. The boy who stood at that window on the morning of April 13th, 2011, who filled in the wrong name, who ran outside 6 seconds too late and found blood on a garage floor and silence where his sister had been, has been carrying what he saw for 13 years. He saw a face through glass from 30 feet away in the low, pale light of an April morning in a place where camouflage meant turkey hunting, and trust was not foolishness, but the only way a community of 387 people holds itself together. He saw a face and gave it the only name that made sense in that moment, and by the time his mother corrected him, the man and Holly were already past the tree line, already beyond reach, already gone. 6 seconds, maybe less. Holly Lynn Bobo would have become a nurse, the kind that patients remember by name years after discharge. She called her parents every day. She packed her lunch the night before an exam and planned her future with the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly what she wants to do with the time she has. Someone decided she did not get that time. The Holly Bobo Act expanded missing person alerts to include young adults up to age 21. Highway 641 through Decatur County now bears her name. Everyone who drives that road drives through her. But the truth of what happened in those woods, who walked out of a Darden driveway on a Wednesday morning in April and took a 20-year-old nursing student to the Tennessee River and executed her, and then drove home and kept living. That truth has not fully arrived. Not yet. The dogs are barking somewhere in the distance. The April light comes through the Tennessee trees, low and pale and slanted, turning the dew into something that looks almost silver. Clint is at the window. He is still at the window, and the man in the driveway has never been found. Who was he? Holly Lynn Bobo, October 12th, 1990 to April 13th, 2011. She deserved to grow old. She deserved to become a nurse and call her parents every day and live an entire life. She deserved all of it. And until the person who took those things from her is standing in a courtroom answering for what they did, her story is not finished. Neither is this one. If you enjoyed this content, Join our community by subscribing and turning on notifications. Every subscriber makes it possible for us to keep creating content we're passionate about sharing with